This blessed Christmas morning and extend to you and to those you love a very Merry Christmas. I imagine by now you've opened up all your presents, such as they may be. Perhaps you got that iPad or that iPod you always wanted, or a new cell phone. Technology this year is as popular as it has been in recent years. Our daughter Elizabeth sent both her mother and me video downloads and other technology things that now can be sent across the airwaves of cyberspace. And so it is definitely the world we live in that we used to. I imagine for most of you, the unwrapping the gifts, whatever they may be, has ended or will end soon. And this is the high point, I suppose, of Christmas morning for many people. When I was a child growing up in northern New Jersey, Christmas morning was really a very big affair because we had 6 people in our family. I was one of 4 children, the youngest of 4, and of course my parents. And the Christmas tree in our living room would always be surrounded by box after box of gifts on Christmas morning for all of us. And we would get right to it on Christmas morning, open those boxes and yelling and screaming, I suppose, in delight for what Santa had brought. And then our grandparents would come down from Albany, New York, and they would have more gifts to give. And of course, the festivities went on all day long, practically, although by about 1 o'clock it was mostly over, and we were ready to have our Christmas dinner. One year, something very interesting happened. We had gotten through opening up all of our presents, and the living room floor was strewn with wrapping paper and boxes. There was a lot of trash to throw out. But as we were gathering it all up and cleaning up and getting ready for our Christmas dinner, I noticed at the base of the Christmas tree there was one small package that had not been opened. It was tiny, and we almost overlooked it. And had I not seen it, I might have thrown it out. So I went to the Christmas tree, I stooped down, I picked up this package, and I unwrapped it. It had a little card that said, to Jamie, from Audrey, who was my brother's girlfriend at the time, later to be my sister-in-law. I opened the package, and inside was a single silver dollar. I was so happy to get that. Later on, Audrey said to me, she thought that it probably was dwarfed in terms of the significance compared to the other things I had gotten that year. But I have to tell you that in the years since, that was the present I remember the most. I don't remember anything else about what I got that year, except for that single silver dollar. And I've often thought to myself in the years that have passed, why is that? Why is the memory of that gift remain so important to me? I think it's because of its small size and insignificance. It reminds me of the gospel. When Jesus came into this world, born of a Virgin Mary in the middle of the night, in a stable behind an inn, in a very obscure circumstance, his birth was truly insignificant to the rulers of this world, of the world at that time. They knew nothing of it, and they probably wouldn't have cared. And yet, his birth later on would be the decisive turn in history. Everything that happened before that we would call BC. Everything that happened after that we would call AD. His birth would be the turning point in history. And those who would become his disciples would attest to that with their lives. That silver dollar that seems so insignificant on Christmas morning would remind me, in the years that have passed, of the significance of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which seems so insignificant to the world, but for those of us who know the Lord, is the most significant message of our lives. When I think back on that silver dollar, I wish I still had it. It was only worth $1 then, but that was 1962, I think. But today it would be worth a lot more money. A silver dollar is rare and probably be worth a couple $100 in today's currency. That too reminds me about a central truth of the gospel, and that is its value in our lives grows over time. Jesus talked about the proclamation of the gospel often as a seed being cast into a field that would grow into a flower or perhaps a grain of wheat. It often begins as a seed that is implanted in our hearts, a seed of hope, of faith, and of assurance of God's love and grace in our lives. It begins very small, but it grows and grows in our life as we grow in our relationship with the Lord. That silver dollar was only worth $1 back in 1962. But today, it would be worth probably a couple $100. Same thing is true for our relationship with the Lord. What begins very small and very insignificant in our lives can grow to become something very big and very beautiful. When I think back on that gift back in 1962, that single silver dollar, I often think that it would have been such a shame had I overlooked it and never opened that package. That almost happened. That too reminds me about a central truth of the gospel, and that is God gives to us, each of us, a gift of grace in His Son, Jesus Christ. This is what we celebrate in Christmas, the incarnation of God who came to live and dwell among us. It is a gift of grace to us, the gift of salvation. But you and I have to unwrap the package. We are offered this gift of grace, but nobody can unwrap it except us. That was true for me that day, so long ago, on Christmas morning. I had to pick up that package and unwrap it. So too is true in our relationship with the Lord. We have to unwrap that package to receive His blessing and His benefits.